Good morning! Welcome to my studio. I'm Dana Holliday and we are here in Thomasville, North Carolina. And I want to invite you into my studio to share with you some of the things that I do. Today I want to talk about encaustic wax because I do so many different things that it's a little overwhelming sometimes. But right now in my life I'm concentrating on the encaustic wax. Okay, so I've been studying encaustic for 5 years now, since November 2015 when I went to San Miguel, Mexico to study with a lady named Winding, who's a fabulous encaustic and portrait artist. It was overwhelming. I originally went into it so I could go into abstraction, but it's back and forth. Is where I have been, these are my sample boards. I've been experimenting with handmade paper and photographing some of the pictures from some of my trips through one of my experiments with carving and reapplying the wax, which who knows if that's legal. I don't know. I don't care. Yeah, that's my rust. Love my rust. And just experimenting also once again with the reapplying of the wax and sculpting it and putting it back on the board. That one there was where I used some of the mesh, like from like fruit bags or whatever. There's different levels of the encaustic. This is, which to me is, it still has some difficulty, levels of difficulty, but these are, the realism is for me a little bit more, and I don't know if you can tell, some of these are carved and they have lots of depth and layers. Okay, and I'm also inspired by Eshwan's portraiture, so I've been getting back into figure drawing because it's always good to hone your skills, and this one's sort of my surrealistic, abstract, the little girl's face. I did a charcoal drawing of my favorite model, my granddaughter, and over here are my pieces that I'm starting to work on. I drew her actually just really quick with, I was experimenting with oil pastels and to see how they reacted to the wax, and I kind of was feeling a little fauvish like the piece. So, anywho, and then this one, and this one's also part of the figure drawing, and I actually printed out the picture that I had drawn on my jet printer over there and did like a transfer, but it was, I actually drew it and then I tried to transfer it, and I don't know, I'm going to maybe redraw her today live and try to add back to that. So once again, there's these have been sculpted some, and that's the fun part of this, you can just scratch in it, and this is flecked. This one's flecked from I used, like, my mother's a great photographer, my brother and sister-in-law, so I used some of their photographs to do some of my artwork. So anyway, here's some of the things that you need to do encaustic wax. I make mine from scratch using resin, Damar resin, and beeswax, which this thing's heavy. So, and it smells really good too. Here's smell. Yeah, this is really fun beeswax. So I melt the beeswax, and sometimes I break things. And also the safety is, this is what I wear when I'm waxing, because we got to go over the safety too, because it can be dangerous. Not too bad, but, and then you have your little fire extinguisher, And back there we got the ventilation because I have a really big space, so I have to ventilate. So anyway, that's the, you know, the two key elements are the beeswax, the resin. You melt it together, and then I make little pellets so that when I have my wax here, this is some of the wax. I have a griddle that I usually keep about 275, 325, and that's where I heat my wax up. I keep it on there because, you know, sort of like a blizzard. Yeah, like that. If that's when it's not heated. So, and this is paraffin. That's what I clean my brushes with. Okay.
What are those pictures behind you?
Oh, this is a student of mine, the famous Blake Hinkle of High Point, North Carolina. Blake is 26. He has autism, and he is fabulous. So anyway, he's a student. That's something else I do, but back to the wax, so because I can't get distracted. I use usually poplar-based wood panels. I am fortunate that I have a wonderful husband who makes mine, and mine are, I usually like that thickness. I do other thicknesses, and I paint my frames black. So that's, you know, and birch. But if you go to the paint store, you can get these pre-made palettes. I have some here. I'm going to make a little triptych. So the process is you have to first coat your panels with a gesso, and it has to be a encaustic gesso. They call it milk paint. You can make your own, or you can order it. I order mine. I don't really have the interest to get into all that making, which I do have a formula, but I don't want to do that. But then this is my clear encaustic wax that I made, and I usually base coat. I put 2 coats of gesso, and then I will put 2 coats of beeswax, and you heat in between every coat. So here, I'll just go ahead and do that. And do you want to cut it off for a minute?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, and while you're at it, the best for me, I always like to tape my edges off because the wax will drip over the sides. So I do like to do that. So, because it will be a mess. And then your paint's not going to stick to the sides if you don't protect them. And I have gloves on because this stuff will get all over your hands. It's lots of little things. Encaustic wax is to me a little bit extra effort, but I have fallen in love with it. I have done, as I said, so many crazy things, and I make them up, and who knows what's next. I guess that's next. Okay, so all right, I have already put 1 coat on, and as I said, you heat them in between each layer. And I smell burning paper, and that's why we have a fire extinguisher. It's fun. You can also use a heat gun, and I've heard some people have used hair dryers. I can't imagine. I'm a very hyper person usually, so I'm not going to be having the patience. I don't have the patience for that. So, but I do have a heat gun in case there are different subtle things I need, and I have. While this is drying, I'll just show you. This is like a little lighter I picked up at Quality Hardware. Just a couple bucks for, you know, your little minute details. And next, I'm gonna put I think I'll just put a little white on it. I'm into this white phase. I don't know why. I love color too, so that's why I kind of did the tree over there. But I think this panel is just going to be a flowing abstract, and I'm going to make it so that it can be hung vertically or horizontally together. So, but here is the white, and you just cover it. And you do it once. You kind of go over it, and you always put it on a napkin. And I just use these little cheap chip brushes that you get at the paint store, and that's what you use. And there's so many things. I mean, I could go into colorants and all that, but I'm having a workshop coming up in the future hopefully at Theater Arts Gallery. Hopefully. Anyway, so, and hey, I do teach classes. So here we go. I've got, you let it kind of cool off a little bit before you heat it. You melt it back on. You have cats and dogs, you're probably going to end up with some hair in there. Just pull it out. Ugh. So there's just so many cool things you can do. I'm just going to play around here real quick and show you that, like squirting it with water. I don't know if you can capture that. It gives it a little pithiness. Oh, it's still drying. And I love recycled stuff. So I may, take a piece of this wherever it's dried, and like maybe lay it down like that. Press it on. It's still warm. So, and then come back over it with another color, just to give it some. I might have put too much on, but that's okay. So let it dry a little bit before I might cheat and lie about what I said about heating in between coats, because I don't always do what I say. Do what I say what I do, or do what I do, but I don't. So yeah, maybe I want to do the little white back over it to capture some of that. That's part of the fun part about the wax. You're not really always sure what's going to come out, and so I let it dry a little bit. Let's just say we go, whee! So you've got that cool little texture. Okay. Oh, and also this is just your regular butane torch. So you can also go make your creme brulee after you finish making your wax. I have to watch it. I have a tendency to go hard on this thing, and it should be, and I might just say on this one there I lost some of my texture, but it's okay. I can come back to that and go back over it when it's almost dry and do something else. So there's just so much you can do with wax. I couldn't even begin to tell you in a day or 2 days. So I invite you to look at my website, and if you have any questions, I would be glad to give anybody any information that I've been so gracefully people of others shared with me. So Dana Holliday at danaholiday.com. That's my website. And thank you, Jeff, and all my friends at TAG. I hope everyone has a beautiful June, rest of the June, and